Okay, so welcome to another episode of Against All Odds. This is the series where I try and play pro tennis with a limited budget and drink a lot of coffee in the process. So me and David have just arrived at Faro Airport, travelled from Manchester, 3 hours on a 5-star Ryanair flight. What an experience. And yeah, we're heading over to our accommodation now in an Uber, very nice Tesla, playing car Tetris. Look at that.
Tesla, baby.
Packed in.
What's good, isn't it?
Not great lighting, but we're in a golf buggy. We've just got to the villas. Oh, thank you, lighting man. Yeah, it's 11 p.m, so we're probably just gonna go straight to bed, I would have thought. Maybe do a bit of mobility, because I'm pretty stiff. That Ryanair flight was...
brutal.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Felt like cattle in there.
Yeah.
And there were so many, like, drunk women who were trying to David.
Oh, yeah. Apparently wasn't leaving alive.
Yeah, there was. I nearly didn't make it out with you. I was like, but yeah. So we're gonna get this little golf buggy, head to the villa.
There we go. This is
Boom.
beautiful.
What are your thoughts, David?
I can't really like. I feel like we're in the wrong place.
Am I playing a tennis tournament? What am I doing here?
Are we on the ATP tour now?
Yeah. This is literally. That's a toilet, but this is literally insane.
Washing machine as well.
Got a bloody everything. Shit.
This will do. This will do nicely.
Little ensuite bathroom there. Nice.
That's nice.
Decent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, take a bit of that, huh?
Oh, this is good.
Got a little balcony at the back here. Oh no, it's not a balcony, it's a straight,
Juliet.
it's a drop. This is pretty good. I don't know if anybody can hear this, but there's some rather loud, weird sounds around this pond. If anybody knows what they are, let me know in the comments. I look them up and I'm not sure I can get used to that, if I'm honest.
It's tough.
That was pretty delectable. That brekkie was very solid. I'd give that like a 9 out of 10 straight up. Straight up. Yeah, just exploring this place during the daytime, it's pretty banging, to be honest. There's are we going the right way? Yeah, we are. It's very, very nice. Very lucky to be here. Like, it feels weird because I'm like so motivated now to play more tournaments. Like, not that I wasn't in the past, but like, it's realizing that this isn't week in, week out. More tennis players. This place is solid. The best thing about this, the courts are only, what would you say, like 2 minutes away from the apartment?
I mean, we can see our house pretty much from...
Yeah.
I think that's our house. So, yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then these are the courts, like, behind there. But yeah, it's like a minute, 2 minutes. It's perfect. So easy. We've just heard that this place is only for 1 week, but that's fine. And then next week is, again, included with the tournament. Yeah, it's a bit further away. But honestly, I don't mind after having this week. It's going to be insane. A little bit of match prep. David's stringing a racket. Pro stringer out. I'm gripping a racket. Gonna go and warm up very shortly. Just heading to the courts. It's about a 30-second walk, which is very convenient.
not really used to this, to be honest. Normally it's like 15-minute bus or, you know, something stupid. But yeah, got my new rackets. Very happy with those. Gonna start warming up on court and then get ready for my match. So I'll join you guys in a bit. What's that, sorry?
How's the YouTube channel going?
It's going. Decent little pracky that. I guess the goal for this week is to stick to everything that I've been doing the past week in training. I know that it's not going to be perfect, but at least, you know, you'll be able to see some structure there, and, you know, it won't just be kind of like battling through matches, although I'll try and, you know, fight hard. It's just more about my level and trying to play the right way, trying to play aggressive, you know, no matter how that looks. Okay, so got a bit of a problem. You know, last week was really intense, and, you know, I haven't been training like that for a very long time. That was my first proper training week, you know, for quite a while. I'm not sure probably how long, maybe like 6 months, 5 months, something like that. And yeah, I've got quite a big blister. There's no other way to explain it. But yeah, it's not not ideal. It's quite sore, but I'm gonna put 2 pairs of socks on, double wrap, and we'll just get through it. Gotta be tough. But yeah, these things happen. They happen all the time. You know, if it's not a blister, it's something else. You just gotta be able to deal with it, I guess.
Match prep time. This is probably about half an hour before I'm due to walk on court. I like to use this time to put my headphones on, listen to some music, get in the zone, but also to prepare my rackets. I use a brand new set of strings for every match. I restring it the night before. This just means that it lowers the chance of me getting a break at a really bad time. I also use a fresh grip for every match, pretty much for the same reason. Adds into the consistency, preparation, but it also feels really good. You don't want the racket slipping out your hand, anything like that. That's just going to cost you more money than an actual grip is worth anyway. I see all these things basically as an investment. I want to get the best out of my tennis possible, but also this is how I enjoy playing. I enjoy playing knowing that I've prepared the right way. So my first opponent of the week was Santiago Pedro Franchini from Argentina. Now, apart from having a considerably cooler name than me, I knew that he was a lefty and probably favoured a clay court. So he was going to be pretty solid and good with angles. And it was going to be especially tricky with these conditions. As you can hear on the camera, super windy. And the court, I would say, is relatively slow. But after my first proper training week in a long time, I was just really keen to try and stick to my process as much as possible. And I was seeing the challenge of the conditions and my opponent as a good thing. And when the conditions are more in my favour, I'm going to feel even more comfortable. I was really trying to set the tone early for this match, so going after my serve as much as possible, hunting the forehand on the third ball as much as possible, putting pressure on, taking the ball early. And when the ball's hanging in the air like that, just trying to move in, take on drive volleys, serve volley. At the start of the match, we did have this weird little rain delay where it rained for about 15 minutes. But then because it's so hot here, it dried in about 5 minutes. And it was really tricky because I thought we were going to be off the court and waiting in the cafe for half an hour, something like that. But it cleared up so quickly, I had to be really mentally on it, stay focused, and then just get back out there. Since switching back to the pro staff, I found that my serve is way more accurate, and I've been told by other players that I'm serving a lot heavier as well. So the pace has gone up a little bit, and then when it hits their racket, it's a heavier feeling. I'm going to do an in-depth video on my racket specs, everything that I've chosen and why. So that's coming soon, so watch out for that. But the one thing that I will say is sometimes when you're changing a racket, it's more in your mind. And I find that I just have a belief about the pro staff that it's the best racket and it's the best racket for me, suits my game. But anyway, back to the match. So a lot of the work that I've been doing with my coach is all about being more aggressive, staying up the court more. Again, really obvious basic stuff. It's more training the mindset and then knowing patterns on top of that. So all I'm trying to do here is work the point with my forehand, wait for a short ball and move on to it, move forward and try and put away a volley. And there were loads of points like this in the match where I've worked the point really well and then
just didn't stick the volley or wasn't clinical enough. But the feeling that I was getting from doing this was a feeling of real confidence and actually enjoyment. I was really enjoying going after it, maybe missing a bit more than I normally would, but I could actually see some progression in my game and more of an identity. Like, I almost want players to say, oh, that's Sean, he bangs his first serve, hits his forehand like a rocket, almost know what I'm going to do. I think that's such a key thing in tennis, is having an identity. Unfortunately, couldn't get the job done at 4-all, got broken, just missed a little bit too much, maybe went for it a bit too much. But at the minute, I'm really seeing that as a good thing. I want to push my boundaries. I feel like that's the way I'm going to improve. And in the short term, like I said, I might be missing a little bit more, but I feel like that's what you have to do to improve. And you can see in this 5-4 game, I think things really started to click because there was that release of pressure after that 4-all game. I got broke. I was just able to relax a little bit more, let my shots flow. And then I also know what it's like to serve for a set at 5-4. I knew my opponent was going to be pulling his margins in a little bit. He wouldn't want to miss or make errors. So that gives me another chance to step up and be a little bit more aggressive. I felt like because of the conditions, they were so slow, the balls got so heavy really quickly. It wasn't just hitting the ball hard, it was the change of pace. So I was using that short slice followed by a heavy forehand. And this was actually really effective, especially when the scoreline got a little bit tight. It's very important not to give your opponent too much rhythm. Just push that forehand long, trying to be a little bit too aggressive. It's such a fine line between patience and then forcing it, especially when you know your opponent's just going to be solid, they're not going to miss balls. This was definitely the moment to pull something like that off. So I had another chance, break point at 5-4, my opponent's serving, and you can see here the wind really started to pick up. It's actually shaking the camera. I just thought to myself, play with as much margin as possible, but still with the intention, take time away and be aggressive. But the ball just moved with the wind at the last second. You have to be so on it with your footwork in these conditions, especially playing further up the court. You have to make loads of little adjustments. Something that I was doing to counteract the wind was actually taking shorter backswings on my ground strokes just to guarantee the contact. After an absolute battle of a deuce game, my opponent took the first set. I wasn't too unhappy with my performance in the first set. I thought that I could have been a little bit quicker to move forward, maybe a little bit more solid on the backhand side, but he was doing really well to find my backhand, especially with that lefty hook forehand just dragging me off the court. It was making me revert to the slice quite a bit on the defense. But again, it's only the first set. These are long matches. There's a lot of time to get back into it. Starting the second set could be very easy to get drawn into a battle where I'm just trying to make loads of balls and out-rally the guy. But like the first set, really wanted to set the tone that I was going to be aggressive and go after it. Try and make my opponent feel as uncomfortable as possible. I knew that he was going to be far more comfortable in the baseline rallies than I was. So my goal was just to move forward, hit the ball big and stick the volleys where I can. I managed to play some really good tennis and get the break. I felt like because I was being so aggressive, my opponent was actually stepping up more, trying to be more aggressive himself. I think he knew at this stage that he couldn't just put the ball in the court, but saying that, I threw in a few cheap errors on my serve and gave away the break, so we're back on serve at 2-1. My opponent did hit a patch of playing extremely well, not really missing a ball and clocking some winners off my serve. But I was still feeling really good, had a lot of confidence in the way that I was playing. My serve felt great. And as you guys know, I don't really give up in these matches. So I felt that everything was still to play for, even after being a set and a breakdown. I was still in there for a fight, but I wanted to do it in the way that I'd been practicing, taking the ball on and moving forward. You can see by how much the camera was shaking, the wind was actually really starting to pick up now. And for how difficult the conditions were, I thought the level was actually really good. Down 5-3, serving to stay in the match. Love 15. It was actually weird how calm I was feeling at this point. I was just trying to breathe, relax, put all the energy back into my process. Heading into this game, I knew I had one simple job: break back. But again, the big focus was doing it in the right way. My opponent's inside-in forehand was actually something that I was really aware of. He was very good at getting that to my backhand. Not the cleanest point I've ever played, but it'll do. Sometimes in the wind, you just have to adapt and accept that the ball is really going to move. It's going to be unpredictable. Playing in the wind is more mental than anything, in my opinion. Managed to fight my way to a break point. I'll be honest, weirdly, I did get pretty nervous here, went passive, not the way that I wanted to play this point, and then ended up going for a rash backhand down the line. Coming up to my opponent's first match point, I knew the margins here were still extremely close, so I was just going to try and make him work. I knew on my second break point, I had to be more aggressive, so hit this return and managed to force an error at the net. Managed to just hold on there in my service game, fighting through a few break points and tight moments. So we were heading into a tie break in this second set. I'll be honest, I was starting to feel quite nervous at this point. I knew that this was going to be a real momentum changer if I could take this second set. Even though I was nervous, I was still trying to move forward and take the ball on. Didn't want to get passive whatsoever. It was tough because my opponent actually got off to a really good start, barely made any errors, played solid, and had a high first serve percentage. I was 3-love down, but still determined to give it a good go, using those serve and third ball combos. Managed to hang on there, 2-5, back to 5 all. I was pretty nervous here, but really wanted to work through it, just moving my feet as much as possible and trying to add some safety on the ball by just getting up the back of it as much as possible, and got myself into a really good situation in this rally. That second set was definitely a test of mental strength. Just sticking in there, saving a few match points, being 5-2 down in the tiebreak, just sticking to my process, working through nerves, and yeah, managed to come through a very tight set. I was really happy with the way that I was serving, and everything else was starting to fall into place. My opponent definitely upped his intensity at the start of the third set. He was looking to dominate more with a forehand, but I really believed if I could stay aggressive and keep him on the back foot and use my forehand as much as possible, then I still had a chance. Since doing that training week with my coach, I definitely feel like I'm hitting more winners. I'm putting the ball past players a lot more, whereas before I was pretty solid, didn't really miss too much, but also didn't do loads of damage. And the funny thing is, I'm actually enjoying the way that I'm playing far more, even though I'm missing a little bit more. It's way more enjoyable going after it than just sitting back and waiting for players to miss. That style also doesn't really get you anywhere. So 4-1 down in the third set, I did start to feel like I was a little bit fatigued. Maybe because of the week of training before, or maybe because I'm playing at a higher intensity, more footwork, more ball pace. Sometimes the shorter, more intense rallies can be more physical demanding than the longer rallies where you're just moving side to side. But anyway, I knew that was something that I was going to have to work on. Unfortunately, didn't have loads to give in that third set, but I was really happy with the way that I was serving, how I approached the match, my intention. There were so many positives to draw from this match and a lot to work with for this week. After the match, I wasted no time, went straight into the mobility, trying to keep my body loose, ready to go for the next matches. And then because of the fatigue, I decided that I probably needed to do a little bit of strengthening, so went straight into some squats. So you can enjoy this delightful view of me doing that. I didn't go super heavy with the weight purely because it's been a long time since I've done squats, and it's something that I actually really need to get back into. Getting strong, feeling powerful, making sure that I've got endurance so I can play full 3-set matches at that intensity. Then threw in some Russian twists just for a bit of core. So me and David both lost in tough 3-set matches. How was yours, David?
Long, tough and windy.
Long, tough and windy. It's not something you want to hear about a tennis match. Yeah, conditions were pretty ugly. I mean, it was really hard to play like a style that was, good to watch, as in trying to be really aggressive, trying to take the ball on.
Winning ugly,
It was winning ugly. It was almost like doing what was required for the win, which is good, but I don't think it gets you up the levels. I really think it's better to practice playing, a better style of tennis. But anyway, we're about to go and stuff our faces. We're going to go and try and make ourselves feel a little bit better with a bit of David's cooking.
Yeah. Do you know what you feel like yet? Have you said
Anything. Chicken pesto pasta, probably. I always feel like chicken pesto pasta.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat that. Rice and chicken, pasta and chicken,
Do that shit.
anything. But yeah, see you guys in the supermarket.
So just grab that's £3.
Why not?
You're going to be on a show on YouTube now, man, so filming it.
I'll mute it, but...
Yeah. I just chucked like all the turkey in, so I was looking at it, like, we need to just like, see off.
So, David's cooked some unbelievable food for us. Some lean turkey mince fajitas. Looks absolutely phenomenal. We're going to smash this and then get an early night. So I guess this is where I'm going to leave you for this video. If I'm absolutely gone, so tired. Yeah, I guess tune in next time. Follow the journey, like and subscribe.
We'll have a nice romantic meal.
Yeah, just leave me and David in peace while we just eat our romantic meal. I'm going to put some George Michael on. Dim the lights.
They're pretty dim already.
It can get even dimmer. Just turn them off, yeah. Was that your hand or? See you later.